Over the following hours, as Anna's memories continued to surface with increasing clarity, a new picture emerged of the operation that had nearly killed her. The Nightingale files contained more than just information about weapons trafficking. They exposed a network of corruption that reached into the highest levels of multiple intelligence agencies. Marcus wasn't the only turned agent, Anna realized, pacing the small office while fragments of intelligence briefings came back to her. The operation was compromised from the moment it was conceived. Lindqvist's jaw tightened. How much do you remember about the extraction protocols? Enough to know that someone I trusted got me out of Prague when the official channels failed. Anna turned to face him directly. Eric, who authorized this recovery mission? Who sent you to find me? The question hung in the air like a loaded weapon. Lindqvist's hesitation was answer enough. Jesus, Anna breathed. You don't know if you're working for the good guys or the bad guys, do you? Agency politics have gotten complicated since Prague, Lindqvist admitted. There have been personnel changes, new oversight committees, questions about operational security that go all the way to the director's office. Anna's training kicked in, analyzing the situation with cold, professional detachment. She was an asset with compromising intelligence, recovered by operatives who might or might not be loyal to American interests. Her location had been discovered despite 8 months of careful anonymity, and somewhere in her damaged memory was information that powerful people would kill to obtain or suppress. Eric, she said quietly, I need you to be completely honest with me. Are you here to bring me home, or are you here to make sure I never remember what I know? Before he could answer, one of the younger operatives who'd been monitoring communications devices spoke up urgently. Sir, we've got movement. Multiple vehicles approaching from the highway. Professional formation. Radio silent. Anna moved to the window and peered through the blinds. 4 black SUVs were spreading out around the diner's perimeter, and she could see figures taking tactical positions. This wasn't a CIA recovery operation. This was a military-style assault designed to eliminate everyone in the building. Eric, she said, her voice carrying the authority of someone who'd commanded life-and-death situations. Whoever sent you here set you up. This was never about recovering a lost agent. This was about drawing me out of hiding so they could finish what Marcus started in Prague. Understanding dawned in Lindqvist's eyes as he realized they'd all walked into a trap. The young operative who'd been eager to prove himself was already reaching for his weapon, but Anna stopped him with a gesture. How many rounds do you have? She asked calmly. Full magazine plus 2 spares? Against a team of at least 12 professionals with automatic weapons and tactical gear. Eric, what's our escape route? Lindqvist was already moving, his training overriding the political complexities of the situation. Kitchen exit leads to the alley behind the building. From there, we can reach the tree line and work our way up the mountain. Anna nodded, but her expression was grim. That's what they'll expect. These people know my training, my preferred tactics. They've probably got the high ground covered and teams positioned along the obvious escape routes. So, what do you suggest? For the first time since regaining her memories, Anna smiled, and it was the predatory expression of someone who'd survived 18 months in deep cover by being smarter and more ruthless than her enemies. I suggest we stop running and start hunting. The transformation was immediate and absolute. Anna Smith, the amnesiac waitress who'd spent 8 months serving coffee and rebuilding her life, simply ceased to exist. In her place stood Agent Sophia Kane, and the small-town diner became a battlefield where she held every advantage. Eric, how long have you been stationed at the embassy in Prague? She asked, while moving efficiently through the kitchen, gathering items that civilians would see as cooking implements, but the trained operatives recognized as weapons. 3 years. Why? Because you weren't there when I was running the Nightingale operation. You don't know about the protocols I developed for exactly this kind of situation. Anna tested the weight of a chef's knife, finding it acceptable for close quarters work. I call it the Sophia Kane doctrine. When you're outnumbered and outgunned, make them come to you on your terms. She moved to the diner's electrical panel and systematically shut off the exterior lighting, plunging the parking area into darkness. The attackers would have night vision equipment, but they'd also have to adjust their tactics for a blackout scenario. The kitchen has 3 access points, she continued, her voice taking on the clipped efficiency of a mission briefing. Main entrance, back door, and service window. I'm going to force them to funnel through choke points where their numbers become a disadvantage. Lindqvist's younger partner looked skeptical. Ma'am, these are professional operators. They're not going to walk into an obvious ambush. Anna's smile was cold as winter starlight. Agent Morrison, isn't it? Tell me, in your training at Quantico, did they ever mention what happened to the Volkov brothers in Chechnya, or the incident at the safe house in Berlin that resulted in 17 casualties? Morrison shook his head, but Anna could see recognition dawning in Lindqvist's eyes. Eric knows, she said simply. The Nightingale wasn't just a cover identity, it was a reputation. And these people remember what I'm capable of when cornered. The first assault came exactly as Anna had predicted. 2 teams approached the front and back entrances simultaneously, while a third team moved to secure the perimeter. Professional tactics, by-the-book execution, and exactly what someone trained in Anna's methods would expect. What they didn't expect was for their target to come to them. Anna moved through the darkened diner like a ghost, using furniture and equipment for cover while staying below the sight lines of the windows. She'd memorized every inch of the space during her months of employment, and now that knowledge became a tactical advantage. The first operative through the back door never saw her coming. Anna took him down silently, using a sleeper hold that rendered him unconscious in seconds. His weapon and communication gear joined her growing arsenal. "Bravo team, report," came a voice through the captured radio. Anna keyed the microphone and responded in accented English that perfectly matched the fallen operative's voice pattern. "Kitchen secure, moving to front of house." The deception bought her 30 seconds, enough time to position herself where she could engage the front assault team as they breached the main entrance. The firefight that followed lasted less than 3 minutes, but would be studied by tactical teams for years afterward. Anna moved through the diner with the fluid precision of someone who'd spent years turning urban environments into hunting grounds, using every piece of furniture, every shadow, every angle of approach to her advantage. She wasn't trying to win a conventional gunfight against superior numbers. Instead, she was demonstrating why Agent Sophia Kane had become a legend in intelligence circles, her ability to turn any environment into a weapon against her enemies. Lindqvist and his team provided covering fire from behind the reinforced counter, but they quickly realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. Anna wasn't just fighting. She was conducting a symphony of violence that turned her attackers' strengths against them. "Echo team, we have a problem," came a strained voice over the radio. "Target is not behaving like a recovered amnesiac. Repeat, this is a fully operational agent with complete tactical awareness." Anna smiled grimly as she reloaded behind cover. They were starting to understand what they'd walked into, but understanding and adapting were 2 different things. "Sir," Morrison whispered to Lindqvist, "how is she doing this?" The medical report said complete memory loss. "The brain remembers what it needs to survive," Lindqvist replied. watching Anna execute a tactical reload that would have impressed Special Forces instructors. And right now, she needs to remember how to be Sophia Kane. The assault team's commander made his first critical mistake by trying to use conventional tactics against an unconventional opponent. He sent 2 operators to flank the kitchen while maintaining pressure on the front entrance, dividing his forces and giving Anna the opportunity she'd been waiting for. She moved through the darkened space with supernatural silence, taking down the flanking team before they realized she'd left her defensive position. Their weapons added to her arsenal, and their communication gear gave her complete awareness of the assault team's positioning and plans. "All teams consolidate on the front entrance," the commander ordered, frustration clear in his voice. "We end this now." But Anna was already moving to her final position, behind the coffee station where she had clear sight lines to both the front entrance and the window positions the assault team was using for overwatch. "Eric," she called out softly, "when I give the signal, you and your team exit through the kitchen and reach the tree line. There's a hunter's cabin about 2 miles up the mountain trail. Wait for me there." "What about you?" Lindqvist asked. Anna's response was interrupted by the crash of the front door exploding inward under the impact of a breaching charge. 4 operators in full tactical gear poured through the opening. Weapons ready, night vision goggles scanning for targets. They found none. Anna had vanished into the shadows like the ghost she'd once been in Prague, and the lesson she'd learned in that blood-soaked alley was about to be taught to a new group of hunters who'd made the mistake of thinking they were the predators in this situation. What happened in the following minutes would become classified material, studied only by intelligence agencies trying to understand how a single operative had neutralized an entire assault team while protecting 3 civilians. The official report would describe it as tactical excellence under extreme conditions. But those who were there knew they'd witnessed something that transcended training or preparation. Anna moved through the chaos with the certainty of someone who'd found her true nature after months of pretending to be someone else. Every skill that had made her legendary in intelligence circles came flooding back. Not just the physical training, but the psychological warfare that had made her enemies afraid to sleep at night. She used the assault team's own equipment against them, their communication frequencies to spread confusion, their night vision dependency to create blind spots they couldn't compensate for. When the last operator fell unconscious, Anna had been careful not to kill unless absolutely necessary. The diner looked like a tactical training exercise had gone catastrophically wrong. But Anna knew this was only the beginning. The team that had found her was expendable, sent to either capture or eliminate a problem that threatened powerful people. Her reappearance would trigger responses from enemies she hadn't even remembered yet. "Sophia." Lindqvist's voice carried a mixture of awe and professional concern as he emerged from the kitchen where he'd taken shelter. "We need to talk about what happens next." Anna was already moving, gathering weapons and intelligence from the fallen operators. "What happens next is that I finish what I started in Prague. These people found me because I'm a threat to something bigger than weapons trafficking." She held up a communication device taken from the assault team's commander. "This equipment is NSA level, Eric. Military contractors don't have access to this kind of technology. Someone with government resources wanted me eliminated." Lindqvist's face was grim as he processed the implications. The corruption goes all the way to the top. Higher than that. The Nightingale files contained evidence of a network that spans multiple governments, multiple agencies. I hid them before the accident because I knew that anyone who tried to use official channels would end up dead. Anna moved to a specific section of the diner's floor, counting tiles from the front window. Her recovered memory was providing precise details about preparations she'd made during her months of supposed amnesia. Mrs. Peterson thought I was just being helpful when I volunteered to repair the loose floorboards back here, she said, prying up a section of tile to reveal a waterproof container hidden beneath. But some habits die hard. Inside the container were documents, hard drives, and photographs that represented 18 months of deep cover intelligence gathering. The real Nightingale files, not the decoy intelligence she'd used to draw out Marcus Volkov, but the comprehensive evidence of a conspiracy that reached into the highest levels of power. Jesus, Morrison breathed, looking at photographs that showed intelligence officials meeting with known terrorists, financial records linking government contracts to criminal organizations, and communication intercepts that proved agencies had been compromised from within. "This is why they wanted me dead," Anna said simply. "Not because I'm a rogue agent or a security risk, but because I have proof that the people who are supposed to protect national security have been selling it to the highest bidder." Lindqvist was quiet for a long moment, studying the evidence and understanding finally why his recovery mission had turned into an elimination attempt. "Sophia, if we surface this intelligence through official channels, we'll be dead within 24 hours, Anna finished. "But if we don't surface it, the network continues operating and more people die, including Mrs. Peterson and everyone else in Cedar Falls who gave me a home when I had nothing." She sealed the container and secured it in a backpack taken from one of the assault team members. "Eric, I need you to make a choice. You can take your team and disappear, claim you never found me, and hope the network doesn't decide you know too much. Or you can help me finish this. What exactly are you proposing?" Anna's smile was the expression of someone who'd spent 8 months pretending to be helpless and was ready to remind the world why she'd been feared across 4 continents. "I'm proposing we stop playing defense and take the fight to them. The Nightingale operation isn't over. It's just been on hiatus while I recovered from amnesia. Time to wake up and finish the job." 6 months later, congressional hearings were underway investigating the largest intelligence scandal in American history. 14 high-ranking officials had been arrested. 3 international criminal networks had been dismantled, and reforms were being implemented to prevent the kind of systemic corruption that had nearly cost Sophia Kane her life. The woman testifying before the closed-door committee bore little resemblance to Anna Smith, the amnesiac waitress from Cedar Falls. Agent Sophia Kane sat with the composed confidence of someone who'd stared down senators, survived betrayal, and emerged victorious from a war fought in shadows and secrets. "Agent Kane," the committee chairman asked, "do you believe the intelligence community can be trusted to police itself?" "Senator, I believe that people like Mrs. Margaret Peterson, ordinary citizens who show kindness to strangers and ask for nothing in return, deserve better protection than they've been getting. The intelligence community exists to serve them, not the other way around." She glanced at the gallery where Eric Lindqvist sat with his team, now assigned to a new oversight committee tasked with implementing the reforms suggested by the Nightingale investigation. They'd all chosen to help finish the job, and none of them had regretted the decision. "The network we exposed represents the worst of what happens when power operates without accountability. But the investigation also revealed something else, that there are still people in the intelligence community who believe in the mission, who are willing to risk everything to do what's right." After the hearing, Sophia walked outside into the Washington sunlight, breathing deeply for the first time in what felt like years. Her memory had returned completely, but she'd learned something during her months as Anna Smith that no amount of training could have taught her. Sometimes the greatest strength came not from what you could do to your enemies, but from what you were willing to sacrifice for the people you protected. Anna Smith had been a cover identity, but the peace she'd found in that small Montana town was real. Her phone buzzed with a text message from Mrs. Peterson. "Coffee's ready when you're ready to come home." Home. Sophia smiled. understanding finally that she didn't have to choose between who she'd been and who she'd become. Agent Sophia Kane would continue the work of protecting national security, but she'd do it with the wisdom and humanity she'd learned as Anna Smith. The nightingale had returned to sing, but this time her song would be one of justice tempered with mercy, and strength guided by compassion. After all, the best spies weren't the ones who forgot their humanity in service of the mission. They were the ones who remembered why the mission mattered in the first place. If you enjoyed this story of lost memories, recovered identity, and the power of finding yourself when everything seems lost, hit that subscribe button and become part of our Everyday Life Stories community. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from our amazing viewers around the world. And remember, sometimes the most important thing we can lose is the memory of who we used to be, because it gives us the chance to discover who we're truly meant to become.